No doubt about it, baseball is the greatest show on dirt. And with every slide and dive comes a stain to tame before the next game. What's the secret to Major League Laundry? Find out next on Inside Stitch. Welcome to Inside Stitch, where everyone at home plate is a fashion plate, and every base path is a runway. I'm AJ Andrews. On today's show, we'll tour Jake Peave's locker, unravel Christy Mathewson's sweater, and hear the uplifting story behind one minor league team's youthfully unique uniforms. To lead things off, though, we're heading to Phoenix, Chase Field to be precise, and inside the Arizona clubhouse to witness a day in the lives of the people who put the shirts on the backs of the Diamondbacks.
I'm going to show you into the laundry room. This is where we make things happen, make the uniforms nice and clean after a game, get them ready for the next day. Roger Riley. I'm Senior Director of Team Travel and Home Clubhouse Manager. We want to make sure that all the players are out there in the uniforms and they're clean. There's no spots or anything, and they have all their equipment and everything else. This is my 34th year overall, and I took over managing the clubhouse before the '01 season. I try to get a lot of stuff done before the game because I actually enjoy watching the games, and then get the bat boys out for batting practice and getting the field set up for that with the gum, the water, baseballs, requests from the players, what they need.
They keep things running behind the scenes. They make our jobs and our lives a whole lot easier. You know, I feel like a lot of times we're just like asking them for things or, you know, hey, we need this, we need this. They're always willing to help. They'll go out of their way for us.
Those guys, you know, they do a lot of things that you don't see and just to make your day easier, and they know your routine. I come in every day and there's a crossword on my chair. They know I like to do the crosswords. Just a great feeling. You know, I know everything's gonna be in there and everything I need on a daily basis, so makes you feel at home.
I think teamwork is huge, and I've been very lucky. For the most part, all my top 5 guys have been here for, you know, the 25, 26 years. It makes my job so much easier knowing these guys, they know what to do. I don't have to look over their shoulders. It's huge, huge to have that kind of continuity.
Chad Shiffen, clubhouse assistant. This is my 31st season. We all pick each other up. I mean, we have each other's back. We all do different duties, but yeah, we all work together pretty well. Hopefully they notice the amount of efforts that everyone has to put into getting them out there and make them look nice and bright and white.
They work hard, harder than a lot of guys I've seen, and just very appreciative of them for sure.
They're part of the team, you know, it's just like another teammate.
And the Diamondbacks walk it off.
After the game, we collect the uniforms and wash those. This is where everything works after the game. All the uniforms, we see the uniforms hanging up. When they come in, we take the uniforms, separate them. We'll bring them in from the main clubhouse in the coach's room in the carts. We'll put jerseys and pants in, wash them.
It's a bit of an effort to get the uniforms completely clean. There's a lot of chemicals involved and extra work.
You know, the cycle for the uniforms are about 20, 25 minutes. Take them out and hang them in the lockers. We don't dry them. We just hang them back up in their lockers right then so they don't get wrinkled. We do not dry them. Hang them up, and then we're ready to go for the next day. There's a station over there for the really soiled uniforms. I would say David Peralta and Paul Goldschmidt were hardest on their pants. They had to do a lot of repairs, and we had to order a lot of extra pants for those guys.
You know, Paul Goldschmidt was pretty hard on his, because he hit a lot of doubles, so he slid a lot.
We're still kind of feeling out these young kids and see how they're doing now. So,
current team: Corbin Carroll, Ketel Marte, Al Thomas, Geraldo Perdomo, because he's diving a lot at short. Those guys are stealing bases and sliding and hitting doubles and triples. So, hey, we love that though. We want them to be dirty when they're doing that kind of stuff. That's awesome.
When I see those guys go out there, it's just a sense of pride that we're going out there and these guys are representing this club and this organization in those uniforms, you know, under the bright lights that they sparkle.
And the line drive right center. It's going to win it. How about those answer backs? What a ball game. They came back again.
So now that we've determined the dirtiest D-backs, or at least their uniforms, who are the filthiest players in baseball history? Get out your stain stick. Here's the laundry list. At number 6, how can a guy nicknamed Scrap Iron not be on this list? As a feisty, hard-nosed, and aggressive ball player, Bill Garner's teammates loved him, and his opponents, well, not so much. As a feisty, hard-nosed, and aggressive manager, let's just say he didn't lose his edge. Garner tussled with players, coaches, and even another team skipper.
Here we go. They're coming in. The managers are going at it. Yep.
Often disheveling his uniform, but never disturbing his perfectly coiffed mustache. At number 5, a versatile utility man who played 6 different positions for 6 different clubs over 15 major league seasons, Dirty Kurt Vivacqua earned his playful moniker with a blue-collar, can-do work ethic, a knack for finding his way into a brawl or two.
And there are some hot-tempered individuals out there. Is that Vivacqua?
And threads that often required an extra spin in the wash. Let's get the dirt straight from the man himself.
I was originally drafted by the Reds. I came up through their minor system and became a part of their 40-man roster, at which time I was in spring training with the Big Red Machine. So I used to come into the locker room when all of the big guys were either getting ready to leave or showering and leaving. And here I come into the locker room. I got dirt from head to toe. Pete goes, you know, you're Dirty Kurt. And that was it. If we called Pete or Tony Perez or Dave Concepcion or Johnny Bench, they would answer the phone. Hey, Dirty. I've always been known to them as just Dirty.
While Vivacqua's uniforms were regularly soiled, his other claim to fame around the game was as clean and pure as childhood itself. He won the 1975 Joe Garagiola Bazooka Big League Bubblegum Blowing Championship with an 18¼ inch orb. At number 4, growing up, 2007's AL Rookie of the Year Dustin Pedroia was no stranger to getting his hands and clothes dirty. His parents operated a tire shop where young Dustin swept the warehouse floor long before he became notorious for swiping an extra base. Known for always managing to scuff up his uniform somehow, someway, the 2008 AL MVP was affectionately nicknamed the Muddy Chicken by Red Sox teammates who valued Pedroia's nonstop, full-throttle approach to his work on the diamond.
To Pedroia, flash of the leather at second base for the Red Sox.
At number 3, some major leaguers really looked the part, almost as if they were born to wear the uniform. And then there's David Eckstein, at about 5.5 feet, nearly the same height as Notre Dame's legendary walk-on Rudy Rudiger. Eckstein was voted by his peers as the player who got the most out of the least, thanks to a powerful combination of grit, drive, and determination. In fact, he was the first to receive the Players Alumni Association's Heart and Hustle Award. And while most fans remember Eckstein for leading the league in dirty knees and hit by pitches, he also hit grand slams in back-to-back games in 2002.
He's done it again!
And was the MVP of the 2006 World Series. At number 2, a 13-time All-Star, American League MVP, and World Series champion during his 21 seasons in Kansas City. George Brett is remembered for his hard slides, sweet swings, and an intense focus. But he's also known for one of the dirtiest bats in baseball history, which surfaced in the infamous Pine Tar game at Yankee Stadium in 1983. Down by 1 with 2 outs in the 9th, Brett hit a 2-run homer to give the Royals the lead, until Yankees skipper Billy Martin took note of a little too much sticky stuff on Brett's bat. The umpires nullified the big fly, and the Hall of Fame slugger exploded off the bench.
Brett is out, and Damon Matt, he is out.
Brett and his bat were tossed from the game, but the home run and the Royals' lead eventually stuck. Here's MLB.com reporter Mark Feinsand to clean things up.
Pine tar symbolized what George Brett was, not because of that moment, but because he liked the feel of it on his hands. He didn't wear batting gloves. He liked that gritty, grimy feeling, and that's the kind of player he was. He loved sliding into second base, trying to break up a double play. He once slid so hard into third base during a playoff game, Greg Nettles kicked him in the face and started a brawl because he didn't like the way he slid. George Brett didn't care. That's who he was. When we think about filthy players, we often think about the gritty guys, the guys at the end of the bench trying to show why they belong in the major leagues. That wasn't George Brett. George Brett was a first ballot Hall of Famer, a member of the 3,000 hit club. He's one of the greatest players of all time and has to be considered one of the filthiest players of all time as well.
At number 1, according to Johnny Bench, Pete Rose played every game like it was Game 7 of the World Series. And one look at his uniform proved the point. For almost a quarter of a century, Rose wore out the base paths as his signature shaggy hair emerged from a battered helmet atop a uniform caked in infield dirt. Hit after hit, a Major League record 4,256.
There it is. Rose has eclipsed Cobb.
And slide after slide, Rose was always full speed ahead, which led to no less of a legend than Whitey Ford, assigning him the nickname Charlie Hustle. What may have been intended as a sarcastic putdown was actually embraced by the 17-time All-Star and 3-time World Series champion, whose never slow down mentality led to one of the most memorable moments in the exhibition game's history. Rose barreling into catcher Ray Fosse to score the winning run in the 1970 Midsummer Classic.
He's in. It's all over. The National League wins. Pete Rose barreled into Ray Fosse, who is slow in getting up. But the National League has now won its 8th in a row.
Over 15 seasons that took him from west to east and back again, 2007 NL Cy Young Award winner Jake Peave halved his uniform number from 44 to 22. But along the way, which fonts were his faves? Here's Jake towing the rubber of A Stitch in Time.
Over the course of 15 seasons, I played for 4 different Major League ball clubs. It means a lot of jerseys. I'm looking forward to getting into some of them with you guys. You guys, in chronological order, this is the road gray San Diego that they wore all throughout the 90s. What Tony Gwynn, what Ken Caminiti, Trevor Hoffman, and Kevin Brown, the guys I looked up to especially after I was drafted by the Padres. I loved the navy and the orange. As you guys can see, I was given number 44 on arrival to the big leagues, and I thought that awfully ironic as Willie McCovey and Hank Aaron from my hometown also wore number 44. So I was super, super proud to walk in the big league locker room for the first time and see number 44. Well, when we moved downtown San Diego from Qualcomm to Petco Ballpark, new uniforms were on the way, and this is the Padre home white that I really made my name and felt like I established my career as a big leaguer. This jersey is from 2007, which was a career year for myself, winning a Cy Young. You see that the jerseys are starting to get lighter, made of different material, breathable. I think, some different memories that stand out in this jersey. 2005, was able to pitch against Roger Clemens, and me and him had a battle. I threw a complete game against him and was able to take the upper hand. And at that moment, I really felt like I believed I'd beat one of the best in the league. I had a couple nights, one in this uniform against the Braves where I struck out a Padre record 16, wearing this jersey, trying to make the Padre and the Friar faithful proud. On the south side of Chicago, where are you at? This was the first time I got traded, but I was so excited to wear these pinstripes and be a south side of Chicago boy. As a Padre, we never had any pinstripe uniform, and you always dream of being in your home white pinstripes, and this gave me that opportunity. Jerry Reinsdorf and staff took incredible care of me. I was traded over to Chicago to be a #1 guy alongside Mark Burley. I was traded over hurt with an ankle injury, and then I tore my lat off the bone in 2010, was told I would really never pitch again. This jersey right here is an All-Star jersey. You can see on the back the All-Stars and the All-Star patch there. And it was just meaningful to me because I was told I would never pitch again. And to come back in 2012 and to be April Pitcher of the Month, go to the All-Star game, represent the South Side of Chicago, Paul Konerko, Chris Sale, Adam Dunn also went with me. Being an All-Star and being who I was called over there to be was something I was real proud of. Honored to wear this jersey. Boston, Massachusetts, do you ever have a special place in my heart? I'm getting traded to Boston from Chicago. You see here the traditional jersey. I love a road jersey because it says where you're from, and this is simple, clean, and cool, but you see this ribbon here meant the world to us because it was commemorating what happened in April and the victims and their families, making sure that they were close to us. And then you see this patch right here. This is from the 2013 postseason run, which was unlike anything I had ever been a part of. So many great teammates, coaching staff, training staff, and beyond, ownership group to punch through and hoist that trophy, along with Red Sox Nation after such a tragic event. Boston strong forever, baby. Oh, this is a fun one. No, this is a special jersey to me because I got to pitch in this jersey on Father's Day with my father and my 4 boys in attendance. And when does that ever happen? Not really. We're traveling around in big families. I love the blue outline. The San Francisco Giants have long been traditional, but you got to do something for the dads. We're raising awareness for prostate cancer. When you pitched in the Major League ballpark and you had family members in the building, it always seemed to bring out the best in me. And I think all my teammates will tell you I pitched for the front of my jersey. But on this day, there was the front and there was also the back because of the 3 generations of Peaves. And that good fortune and good mojo and them being in the house led to a San Francisco Giant win. Where you at, San Francisco? I couldn't wear 44 for the first time in my career. 44 being Willie McCovey, who's from my hometown of Mobile, Alabama, had played there, and his number was retired. So they asked me what number I wanted in San Francisco, and I went back to my childhood number in minor league number 22, which I couldn't believe was available because we all know Will Clark played an awfully long time in this Giant uniform and wore the number 22. So he's from close to my area, Mississippi boy, and I know Will and knew Will a little bit, and I was honored to carry on the 22 tradition in San Francisco. We know what happened in 2014.
A World Series win for the San Francisco Giants.
Look at how clean that is. The gold, I don't know if you guys know what the gold means, but the gold means you are the World Series champions from the year before. Madison Bumgarner rode out on a horse from center field. But it's the honor of a lifetime, getting to win back-to-back World Series championships with 2 different teams. The San Francisco Giant fan base took me in. The Grateful Dead and the hippie family took me in San Francisco, and I had the best times of my life on and off the field in San Francisco. Over 15 years and 4 different franchises, so many memories come flooding back. What stands out to me most is just bleeding these colors. Whatever team and city you wore across your chest, you lived and died with the fan base, with your teammates each night. It was an honor to wear a Major League uniform. Thanks for sharing a stitch in time with me.
We're celebrating 2 iconic anniversaries in 2023. A half-century of hip-hop and 70 years of New Era's 5950 on-field cap. The 2 are connected by what some call the greatest rebrand in sports history. And here's a peek at a new documentary that showcases how the Chicago White Sox got fitted in black.
You know, the aesthetic just really played to kind of the way that I describe our city. It's a beautiful grittiness, right? And it's a hardcore aggressiveness, but it's also like a purity to it.
When the Sox came out with the new rebranding, the new look, it just spoke to me. I had established myself as a force to be reckoned with as a solo artist with America's Most Wanted and then Kill at Will. And here we go with a new album and a new look. Yeah, I didn't want to return just straight with the Raiders look because it felt like I was, you know, leaning on the NWA legacy. We was looking for something cool to set us apart. We still like the black, but when the Sox changed their colors, the Sox hat came out, this one right here, strangely spoke to us, you know, like, yo, this is edgy, this is new flavor. And it felt like, yo, this is a new attitude for baseball. The steady mobbing, okay, yeah, I remember that. You know, I shot that video in my neighborhood. And I just remember feeling fresh and new.
It was cool, and Ice Cube made it look really cool in the video. I think automatically, just based on that, everybody ran out and got the hat.
By August of 1991, White Sox merchandise was #1 in sales nationally, according to Major League Baseball properties.
The hat absolutely exploded In 1990, the New Era Hat Company made 9,000 White Sox hats. In 1991, they made 544,000. Right after the hats were debuted, Jerry Reinsdorf went to a Tucson, Arizona store to buy a hat. They didn't have any. And the owner of the store said, "I can't get any. I could sell all I could get, but I can't get any."
When 1992 rolls around, The Chronic comes out. And what's the first single from The Chronic? The first single from The Chronic is Nothing But a G Thing. What's the hat that he has on in that video? A Chicago White Sox hat. And The Chronic, you know, it changed music. It's easily one of the most important hip hop albums of all time, if not top 5. It changed the genre, it changed the sound, it changed how people dressed. So then the White Sox hat explodes. Everybody is wearing a White Sox hat. We're wondering, what is this? Is this the uniform? Like, this is in every rap video now. This is stuff that's running once or twice an hour on Rap City and Yo MTV Raps.
And I realized when it was getting big, because I received a call from Major League Baseball asking me if I was sending hats to rap artists and MTV. No, that's organic. Obviously, it had gotten bigger than any of us had ever imagined.
Check out the full-length documentary featuring Ice Cube, The Big Hurt, and more on WhiteSox.com, MLB.tv, and YouTube. One player who certainly saw a lot of the White Sox is longtime Tiger Miguel Cabrera, who just closed the book on a remarkable career that began in Miami and ended over 2 decades later in Detroit. To determine Miggy's most sparkling look on the diamond, the off-base crew is here with the tale of the tape.
What's going on, everyone? It's your girl, Lauren Gardner, LG Red, alongside Chris Young and Xavier Scruggs. You know we love to talk about style on this show, so let's get to the latest edition of Tale of the Tape. Today, we're looking at 2 very different versions of the same legendary player. How about this? Future Hall of Famer Miguel Cabrera. He's a 2003 World Series champion, a Triple Crown winner, and a 12-time All-Star. But see why? The big question is, which uniform do you prefer?
Normally, I would lean towards the uniform that you won your World Series in. But with Miguel Cabrera, although I like the Marlins uniform better, I will always see him in that Tigers fit.
Yeah.
Anybody we haven't seen, I saw 1 Triple Crown in my lifetime winner, and that was Miguel Cabrera. So I'm going to visualize him in that Tigers uniform for the rest of his career because I feel like that's what he's going to go to the Hall of Fame wearing.
I have to agree. Like, I feel like when I first started watching the games and really diving into hitters and trying to figure out what hitters do well, Miguel Cabrera was one of the first, one of those guys, and he was with the Tigers at that time. Yes, I think that the Marlins uniform looks great on him, but I think playing for the Tigers so many more years and having seen him do the Triple Crown with the Tigers uniform, and then also thinking as a hitter, like, just remembering him driving the baseball all over the field. He was a hitter first. He's a hitter first and then a power guy. So kind of wanting to do those things, I remember just visually, it's the Tigers uniform.
I think it's unanimous here. Tigers across the board. He cemented himself in the history books in a Detroit uniform. Thank you so much for watching another edition of Tale of the Tape for the Off-Base crew. I'm LG Red. We'll see you next time.
With a resume featuring 2 MVP awards, 4 batting titles, 511 home runs, and a World Series championship, there's no question Miguel Cabrera is headed to the Hall of Fame. And that's where we're headed to for a sweater weather edition of Cooperstown Couture.
What we have here is a sweater worn by Hall of Famer Christy Mathewson during the 1913-1914 World Tour between the New York Giants and the Chicago White Sox. Interestingly enough, Mathewson only took part in the first leg of the tour in the continental United States because he refused to get on a ship due to seasickness. Why do we have cardigans? They're so cool, but yet no one knows a whole lot about them. Well, from about 1905 to 1925 or so, teams actually issued cardigans as part of their team uniform. Think of these as like a warm-up jacket. You know, they're warm, but they're also versatile. More versatile and durable and wearable than a sewn jacket. In that era, knitwear was actually having a heyday in sports. Think of ski sweaters or Argyle sweater vests on the Gulf Green. And baseball decided to jump on the bandwagon and create cardigans. You could even buy these in sporting good magazines for your team. As a knitter myself, I find team cardigans really fascinating. You know, they actually varied year by year within each team, and teams had different styles, different ways of buttoning the front, different collars, but they always had pockets. Women love pockets. For me, I love looking at the construction and how it's made. Some cardigans knit in one piece up the side seams. This particular one is actually knit in 3 pieces for the body, 2 fronts and a back. And then the sleeves are knit in the round or in a tube. However, because these were made by knitting machines, not by hand, they actually knit the cuff separately from the sleeve and then attached it. This cuff was actually knit as a flat rectangle before being sewn and attached to the round sleeve. You'll notice on this cardigan that there are 2 logos. Not all team cardigans had a team logo on it, but this one has not only the New York Giants team logo on the sleeve, but also the shield patch, which was used to symbolize that they were on a world tour. I also love this collar on this cardigan. As a knitter, it took me forever to figure out this particular stitch. It is not a basic knit stitch. It's called a racked fabric. It's something that only a machine can make. This masterpiece was produced by Spalding Sporting Goods, you know, the company that makes baseballs. Interestingly enough, in 1893, Spalding Sporting Goods acquired the Lamb Knitting Machine Company, which really primed them to make this cardigan worn by Christy Mathewson in 1913. As you can see, it's in pristine condition. It's made of wool and weighs a pretty hefty 2 pounds 11 ounces, which, as you can imagine, makes it pretty warm and cuddly. So let's show some respect for knitwear, and maybe Major League Baseball will bring back the cardigan.
Minor League Baseball is well known for unique promotions and on-field celebrations that often include custom club logos, uniforms, and gear. But an annual event held by the Akron Rubber Ducks features jerseys designed by kids whose creativity is only part of what makes them so inspirational.
Tonight is the annual Akron Children's Hospital Hematology Oncology Awareness Night. It's the Showers Center for Cancer and Blood Disorders Night. We've been doing this night every year since the ballpark opened in 1997.
The first several years of this celebration was more of a community-based picnic at the park. But about 20 years ago, we joined our neighbors, and we have been having our celebration here at the park. We start out in front of the hospital. We have anywhere from 1,300 patients and families that celebrate out there.
And then they all walk to the ballpark. They parade around the warning track before the game starts. They had a check presentation tonight for the Fighting Warriors Foundation. You know, a couple kids had a chance to throw out the ceremonial first pitch, which is always fun.
And then we'll have fireworks to end the night. Each year now we have a contest for our patients that they can design the jersey that's worn by the players this evening. We get a variety of offerings from everything from toddlers who are coloring on shirts to teenagers who are being a little bit more creative.
So it's really cool where a kid has a chance to really design the jersey that's worn on the field by the Rubber Ducks.
I mean, it would be cool to see them wearing all my jerseys and playing baseball. And I mean, it was fun making it too. She helped me out with all the words and making sure it was all straight and all that stuff because she's real artistic.
I try.
Creative. It's one of the great ones.
I like it. In the back, you can't really tell. Here, I'll show you guys. It says "Cancer Sucks," and they switched it to Ducks. We fight together. It means a lot.
We do a jersey auction. The proceeds are raised to benefit Children's Hospital, and they have a chance to meet the players who wore the jerseys, get them autographed, and it's always a fun time for folks to get on the field and have that experience. At the end of the 3rd inning, we stop the game. Both teams line up on each of the baselines, and they give high fives to 2 lucky kids as they get to run the bases for the home run for life.
They told me he had 5 days to live. He was on a ventilator. And he's standing strong right now, and I'm so grateful.
When the kids get to run around the bases, it's a once-in-a-lifetime moment for them, and it's special for them, but it's also special for us.
One of the things that really resonates with our family on this night is that we've been doing this for 10 years. And then 8 years ago, my daughter Ella got sick and she was diagnosed with leukemia. And so this night means even more to us because we're reminded of the battle that this brave young little girl fought and won. And we're so proud of her. She's an inspiration to all of us. And it's one of those things that just makes you really understand why this night is so important.
It's very emotional for me because this night is the night that I'm reminded that I almost lost my sister to the terrible disease. And I'm reminded of how thankful I am that I haven't lost her and that she's still in my life because I don't know what I would do without her. She is my rock.
We remember the times that we struggled, but we're so grateful, and to see other kids that maybe have it a little bit harder than she does, and you understand a little bit more what those families are going through. It just makes you very thankful for what you have and grateful for our family.
It's bigger than baseball. You know, people have kids fighting for their lives over there, so, you know, I think it kind of puts everything in perspective.
We always talk about not playing for the name on the back, but when you feel like you're really playing for something and you're representing a community, it means a lot.
It's when it becomes bigger than the game. We have family that passed away from cancer, God bless them, so it means even more. Getting this jersey to my mom because her family was the one that passed, so it means a lot. I'm just happy we were able to get a win for them and for everybody that's dealing with something with cancer right now.
It's immensely important because there's a lot of days that they struggle, and so to have a day where you can just sit back and relax and be, in a sense, catered to and find some fun things to do and get to experience something that not everyone gets to experience is pretty cool.
It's really about the community celebrating what these kids have accomplished. And it's really great to see kids have a smile on their face, to see the parents have a smile on their face. It's a simple thing, but it makes it all worthwhile in the end.
What an absolutely incredible story. To learn more about Akron Children's Hospital or make a donation to help support their mission, visit akronchildrens.org. Now, before we double knot this episode of Inside Stitch, let's take a look at the one-of-a-kind retirement gift the Detroit Tigers presented to Miguel Cabrera, a player who reached rarefied air in more ways than one.
Now, representing the organization, Jim Leland and A.J. Hinch are presenting Miggy with a customized set of cleats made by renowned artist Marco Turzo, made from several significant baseballs from Miguel's career. The cleats are presented on a base representing the time he spent at both third and first base in his career.